In today's Leeds news, 49ers clarify Rangers ownership, Meslier Strasbourg target, Wober won't rot in England. Today's rumour mill stories including Jaka Bijol, Rodrigo Muniz, Shea Charles, Julian Weigl, Diarra offer, Junior Firpo. Morning folks, welcome back to The View for Monday morning the 9th of June with your Leeds United news. Just a quick reminder that the transfer window in its current guise will close tomorrow night for 6 days before then reopening on the 16th and running all the way through till the end of the window in August. And also just to give you an update on the Leeds AC Milan ticket situation, over the weekend 40,000 tickets were sold, which means there's roughly about 12,000 tickets still available for the game. But 40,000 for a pre-season friendly in Dublin between Leeds and AC Milan is a hell of an achievement. But we've got a bit of stuff to get stuck into today over the weekend, some clarification of some rumoured stories that came out of over the weekend that may not be as cut and dry as they seemed at the time. But we'll start off with the 49ers clarifying the Rangers ownership situation. And during takeover talks for Glasgow Rangers, a lot was spoken about Leeds United and Rangers entering what was referred to as an MCO or multi-club ownership model. Andrew Kavanagh is the front of the takeover, with the 49ers seen as the secondary part of this consortium. Over the weekend, Rangers CEO Patrick Stewart said that he has spoken with the 49ers and has insisted that Rangers will not be a feeder club for Leeds United. 49ers have insisted that their commitment to Leeds United will not be changed in any way with the takeover of Glasgow Rangers, and it won't be impactful on Leeds at all. Greta Steinson will oversee the footballing model for both clubs as part of his promotion last November to the 49ers head of global football, but the 49ers have reiterated that they do not view this as part of a multi-club ownership model and that both clubs will be seen and operated as individual ventures. Rangers CEO Patrick Stewart had the following to say on the topic this weekend. I think firstly that this isn't a multi-club ownership model. It just simply isn't. There is no common parent club. There is a limited amount of overlap. Parag Marathe is the chairman of Leeds and vice chair of Rangers. We have a couple of other individuals that have interest or roles in both clubs. There's commonality, but there is not any control from one club or the other. The Rangers CEO making it pretty clear that there isn't a multi-club ownership model here, which is probably good timing considering the issues that Crystal Palace are facing with Europe over their ownership as well. And this puts a clear line between the two clubs and just separates them should there be any European issues down the line. Let's move on and talk about some potential exits from Leeds United, and there's been two stories over the weekend to talk about. One is Illan Meslier and links to him in France. Leeds United goalkeeper Illan Meslier is said to be a target of two French sides that include RC Strasbourg, who are looking for a replacement for Jordi Petrovic as he heads back to Chelsea this summer. There hasn't been too many links to Illan Meslier this summer, but he is expected to move away from Leeds in the coming months. According to a report from Jeunesse Photo in France, they claim that Strasbourg are keen on the goalkeeper along with RC Lens. Strasbourg are owned by Chelsea's owners Blue Coat, and they could just loan them another one of their goalkeepers like they did last season with Petrovic. But according to this report, they claim that Strasbourg have serious consideration over a move for Illan Meslier due to the instability of that number one spot in the club. Lens are also said to be weighing up their options and a move for Meslier, according to this report, but it's unclear right now whether any official contact has been made by either club. Chelsea did inquire about Illan Meslier 2 summers ago. Maybe there's a connection there. Maybe they were looking at him as a goalkeeper for a different club at that point, but there are now two clubs said to have some eyes on Illan Meslier during this window. Moving on, let's talk about Max Verber. He's been speaking over the course of the weekend while on international duty, and he has had some things to say that probably won't shock a lot of people. Verber revealed that Leeds United plan to sell him this summer and that he is desperate to leave the club and will not rot away in England. Verber spent most of last season on the injury table after 2 sets of knee injuries, pretty much ruled out most of his season. And now Verber appears to have been told that he has no future at the club. Speaking to the Austrian outfit Krone at the weekend, he said the following. Leeds have already made it clear to me that they want to sell me. I might have been able to send out a letter of application with my display against Romania. It was simply good feeling to be back on a pitch and show that I can still play well and that I definitely deserve to be here. I was extremely pleased that I was able to show other clubs that I'm fit and that I'm still a really good player and I don't want to rot away in England. Leeds getting a sale of Max Verber for anything over £5 million would represent a PSR profit. So from that perspective, they should be able to bring in between £5 to £10 million for the player that they initially paid £11 million for, but over the amortisation of that deal, Leeds only need to bring in £5 million, so we'll see where this one goes. And get into the rumour mill stuff, and some big chunky stories have come out over the weekend, and some of them are not as clear as may have been made out. Let's start off with Jaka Bijol rumour. Just to clarify, contrary to reports from Sports Zone, Leeds are not said to have agreed personal terms with Jaka Bijol just yet, but have made inquiries apparently. Over the weekend, Leeds were linked with a move for Udinese centre-back Jaka Bijol, and the player has now hinted that he will leave this summer. Italian outfit Tutto Mercato had a report over the weekend, and they're a little bit more missed than they are hit, and that should be pointed out, but they claim that Leeds are ready to make a decisive move for Bijol, who has emerged as one of Serie A's most impressive centre halves. The Slovenian international is valued at about £17 million, and he has 2 years remaining on his current deal. The report claims that Bijol is one of the hottest names on Leeds' summer shortlist and will be seen as a priority signing for Elland Road Chiefs. It's unclear, according to reports, whether Leeds have made official contact with Udinese, but the reports do claim that Leeds have been in contact with Bijol's agents. It is made clear in this report that talking to his representatives is very different from agreeing personal terms. After his performance for Slovenia against Luxembourg at the weekend, Bijol had the following to say: "Does Milan want me? We are talking about a truly great team, but I don't want to talk too much about it. Now my focus is on the match against Bosnia. They are just rumours, and in Italy there are always a lot of rumours. But it is also true that I feel ready for the next step, and let's see if that starts this summer. In football you never know. I am grateful to Udinese, who have given me so much, and I am happy in Udine. But I would like to make the leap." All the talk from his representatives and interviews over the weekend really give a clear indication that AC Milan and AS Roma are the front runners for his signature. Leeds are mentioned, but they're mentioned very much as a footnote in that bracket. Bijol said himself that he has no preference over a jump to the Premier League versus Serie A when asked about that as well. And he went on to say that he could still be at Udinese come the end of the transfer window. This isn't a done deal. There's nothing imminent on this one just yet. And as reports say over the weekend, there's a bit of work for Leeds still to do if they are really interested in the player and if they want to get a deal done. He's a very, very, very good centre-half. He's a big, strong, physical player as well. Would add an awful lot to the Leeds defence. And if Verber's leaving, Leeds obviously are looking at more centre-back targets and could be looking at 2 at this point, given the gaps that they've got. But there is, as I say, work to be done on this one. So not a done deal yet at all, but we'll wait and see what happens over the next couple of weeks. A report that came out this morning, a freshly breaking one this morning, it comes from L'Equipe in France. And according to the report in the French outlet, they say that Leeds United have made an offer for Strasbourg central midfielder and captain Habib Diarra. L'Equipe note that Strasbourg are no longer against moving the player on this summer after last year digging their heels in and trying to keep the player at their club. There was some interest last year from Aston Villa and Stade Rennes in the midfielder, but Leeds United have now been labelled as the first club to make a move for the midfielder. The report says that Leeds have tabled a €26 million move, so that's between £22-23 million or thereabouts for the 21-year-old who started 27 of the 30 games last season for Strasbourg as they finished 7th in the top tier in French football. Let's move on and talk about Rodrigo Muniz, link that popped up over the weekend. And according to Baron Cross in The Athletic, Leeds are said to have inquired about Fulham striker Rodrigo Muniz, a striker who over the past 2 seasons has averaged a goal every 150 minutes. The club sources speaking anonymously to The Athletic have acknowledged there was interest in Muniz, but they feel that other strikers on Leeds' shortlist are more likely to be recruited at this stage. The 24-year-old is in the final year of his deal at Fulham and is expected to get a new contract offer from Marco Silva. However, what the interesting piece on this is that Leeds did inquire about the player, but are more likely to move on to other targets at this point, so you can probably rule Rodrigo Muniz out of your bingo card right now. Let's talk about Julian Weigl. He's been linked with Leeds pretty heavily over the course of the last few months, and the reports in Germany over the weekend have linked Leeds again with a move for him, and this time have made his fee available. BMG News in Germany states that Gladbach will accept an offer of anything between £4.2 million and £8.4 million for the central midfielder, who could then link back up with Daniel Farke. He's got a huge amount of experience, not the fastest player in the world, and that should be noted, but is a steady enough player, and we'll keep an eye on that one and see if it has any more legs to it. Let's talk about Shay Charles. This has been linked this morning, and Leeds were linked with Shay Charles first 2 summers ago when we were first relegated to the Championship, and now the Mail claim that Leeds have still got interest in the midfielder. The Daily Mail claimed that Leeds admire Shay Charles and that they believe the player could make the step up to the Premier League. Shay Charles was signed by Southampton, and when they went to the Premier League, they, instead of keeping him in the Premier League, they loaned him out to Sheffield United, where he started 44 of their 46 Championship games last season and was voted as their player of the season as well. However, the former Manchester United under-21 captain hasn't played much football in the Premier League and isn't a proven entity there, and for a fee I've been rumoured of anything around £12 million. This one seems an incredibly unlikely signing for Leeds to make, given that Leeds will need to be very careful with the money they spend and will need more than likely more proven entities than gambles. And then finally today, there's just an update on the junior Firpo situation. According to Fabrizio Romano today, he says that Real Betis have finally put a contract offer on the table for Firpo and are making a move to bring him back to the Spanish outfit. Betis are also reported as being interested in Alex Moreno and are said to be bringing in a new left back this summer, but would prefer Firpo over Moreno at this point. But right now there are deals apparently on the table from Olympique Lyonnais, AC Milan, Real Betis and the offer from Leeds United, but the more offers that pop onto his table, the less likely it is that he will stay at Leeds United. Also, just to let you know, on the Ben Davies links with Leeds over the course of the last year, he has had his deal extended by a further year at Tottenham Hotspur, so you can probably rule him out now as well. Folks, a lot of stuff to get through today, but there you go. There's your weekend clarification on most stuff. We'll keep an eye on where we're going with some things. There might be a podcast tonight, more likely tomorrow night, but we'll see where we are over the course of the day. Massive thank you as always for supporting the channel. I'm back tomorrow morning with more Leeds news, and I'll talk to you then. See ya. Bye.